Would you be able to give me some background information on the style of this outfit?
So the Roaring Twenties was one of the most influential, creative and unique eras in the modern fashion history. This is the era that the flapper girl became famous. With their short sleek hair and short shift dresses, they became the iconic look that we think about today. This era has mostly impacted party dresses compared to eras like the 80s, who have inspired our casual wear.
The dress modelled here is greatly inspired by the flapper style look from the 20s. They've got the inspiration from the fun party girl image and created a dress that shows this off. This shift style dress resembled what they would wear. In the 20s they would embellish their dresses with beading and tassels with a neutral colour tone, whereas this dress has taken inspiration from that but has made it more current with the use of multicoloured sequins. In the 20s these flapper style dresses were usually finished with the tassels at the hemline. This dress has updated its look using sequins in replacement for the hemline in order to modernise the classic style of the dress. A lot of retailers take inspiration from this look, especially around the festive season where a lot of people like to wear glamorous outfits for partying similar to the flapper girls from the jazz age. So could you tell us about some of the influences on fashion in the 30s? The Wall Street crash in 1929 began an important change to how people lived their lives for this time. The people's responsibilities changed as the 20s saw the population live into the full, whereas unemployment was high in the 30s, which encouraged more women to make their clothes at home due to their lack of income.
Women started to embrace menswear style fashion in this decade for the first notable time. Trousers were worn either lounging at home, for summer beachwear or for sports, and they were part of everyday fashion. The culottes were a popular choice of trousers in this era. This was a short trouser with wide flowing legs that gave the illusion of wearing a skirt. This style is flattering for all body shapes, which women liked because it showed off the narrow waist. Today, the culottes are still popular as they are being retailed in most clothing shops, as you can see modelled here. This year has shown a popular demand for several trouser styles with more colourful prints, which has been influenced by the trouser style from the 30s. Not only has the 30s influenced recent trends, currently, they have also inspired the 80s power dressing phase. This style was intended to help women show they were not the weaker sex in the workforce.
Can you tell us some information about the 40s background, please?
Well, this was the era when World War II started and it had a huge impact on the fashion world. Women's clothes took on a masculine, militant look with the invention of shoulder pads. The silhouette was all about embracing the hourglass shape, with broad shoulders, tiny waists and full hips. If you are not naturally an hourglass shape, then the clothes are designed to help you achieve the look you desired. In order to achieve this shape, A-line garments were designed and became an evolution of style to this day now.
The design modelled here has been influenced by the typical women's trend from the 40s, with all retailers now taking inspiration from the A-line silhouette. Due to the outbreak of war, women were pressured to take over men's jobs, which made fashion become a lot more practical to suit this lifestyle. The colour of this dress has also taken inspiration from the military colours that a lot of designers now incorporate within their collections. These colours, like khaki green, are versatile and can be used for different products such as bomber jackets, military jackets, dresses, shirts. This A-line style dress incorporates the style that was worn in the 40s and the colour too from military uniform.
Would you be able to tell me about the style revolution for the 1960s?
So the 60s was a decade for a huge fashion and social turnaround. Miniskirts became the normal style and popular music was blaring from every teenager's radio. People had more money and no responsibilities, which was similar to the 20s. Also, the 1960s fashion was in many ways like the 1920s flapper girl revolution.
Pop art had a huge influence on fashion. Geometric shapes and black and white colours were incorporated into fashion, which proved to be a huge fashion craze. A lot of clothing is now monochromatic, which has been influenced by this era. Mary Quant famously introduced the miniskirt for the teenager after the previous style moved from grown-up fashion from the 40s to a playful younger style in the 60s. This miniskirt modelled incorporates the classic monochrome patterns that we associate with the 60s. Also, miniskirts are more current today and suited to the younger generation. They are worn for all occasions and retailed everywhere.
So, can you tell us about the 70s fashion and how it's impacted fashion today?
The 70s was when music really began to impact fashion trends in society. This was the era when the disco genre had arrived. Big iconic pop groups such as ABBA and the Bee Gees dominated the music scene and had a big influence of teenagers' social life and the clothes that they wore. Punk as the mainstream subculture of the 70s. They were a group of young people who expressed themselves as anti-fashion by wearing original clothing, which was typically old clothes that had been cut up, destroyed and refashioned outfits.
This skirt modelled shows a typical punk fashion. As well as leather, denim and studded clothing, punks also love tartan prints. The style of this outfit is just an example of how retailers incorporate punk fashion, which is more influenced by the 70s than we realise. Debbie Harry, the lead singer of Blondie, her signature look was bold blue eyeshadow, and this was a common look for punks as they like to express themselves with unique and individual looks. A lot of clothing sold by retailers today incorporates tartan. For example, tartan shirts are widely popular with both genders. Moreover, this shows that punks in the 70s are still influencing fashion today.
Can you tell us what you found out about the 80s?
The 80s was a decade of bold style, colours and silhouettes, with trends such as rip tights and leather to oversized blazers, and there were style icons ranging from Princess Diana to Madonna. The 80s saw the introduction of hip-hop culture, music and fashion, which is when the brands such as Adidas became widely known. The 80s saw a fitness boom in most cultures.
Also, exercise DVDs were being released and people started to lead a healthier lifestyle, as this was more of a trend than previous eras. This encouraged women to wear exercise clothing even when they were not working out, which is similar to now as workout gear is considered to be in fashion. Brands such as Adidas and Nike make clothing for sportswear, however, this clothing is now more popular to be worn as leisure wear. This outfit is a modernised look of the 80s. Adidas items were still just as popular in the 80s as they are currently now, with anyone and everyone from all ages.